Hey guys, so we're going to go over a few problems on law of sines, law of cosines word problems. I'm not going to go over all of them because a lot of them we're going to do in class for work, alright? But I still want to make sure I give you guys some examples to work with. So let's just dive into problem number one. It says a chandelier is supported by two wires, one on each side going in opposite directions. Create an angle of 80 degrees between the wires. The ends of the wires are anchored on the ceiling 12 meters apart with one wire forming an angle of 40 degrees with the ceiling. Find the lengths of the wires. Okay, so then we draw this picture for you because it's a weird picture. Alright. And what we see here is that I want to find the length of this wire and this wire. So I'm just going to call them X and Y. If you want to call them something else, that's perfectly okay. In fact, if you wanted to label, you know what, let's do this instead. If you just wanted to label this triangle as A, B, C, that's completely okay. So then that would make this side little a, this side little b, and we know side little c. Okay, so at this point in time, you're like, okay, Mr. Miller, this is not a right triangle because I can know that this third side is 60 degrees. I don't necessarily need to know that information. Yes, I do. Yes, I do. So I can find this third angle by adding 80 and 40 together there. I mean 120. 180 minus 120 is 60 degrees. That's how I know that was 60 degrees. Okay. You're like, I know it's not a right triangle, so I need to set up my T-chart. So, you know, I have a size. I'm just going to put an S because it's kind of hard for me to draw with this thing. Put an A. And so then you have little a is equal to something, little b is equal to something, and little c is equal to something. Then you have angle A, so that's a capital A is equal to something. Angle B, so that's a capital B is equal to something. Angle C, so that's a capital C, and that's equal to something. Alright, so let's plug in what we know. Well, we do not know little a. We do not know little b. We do know little c, that's 12. We know that angle A is 40. Angle B is 60. Angle C is 80. And the next question we always ask ourselves is, do I have a pair of opposites? And hopefully in your video you're watching right now, you're like, yes, yes you do, it's right there. That is correct. I know that I have the pair of opposites angle C and side C. So that means this is a law of sines situation. Okay? So what I can do is I can say side 12, so side C, over sine of 80, okay, is equal to, alright, now I pick another side. Which side do you want to solve for first, A or B? B? Okay. B over sine of the angle opposite that, so that would be 60 degrees. So sine of 60. Alright, so now that we got this set up, we know it's a simple cross-multiply situation. So 12 sine 60 is equal to B sine 80. I can't write over my little face here on the screen, that's why I'm doing it at a curved angle. Alright, so then we know if we have B sine 80, that means B times sine 80. So to get B by itself, I have to divide both sides by sine of 80. Alright, just assume that says sine of 80. Divided by sine of 80. So then on the right side over here where the B is, the sine 80s cancel out and I'm just going to get B. It's going to be equal to something. So then I just got to grab a calculator and figure out what that something is. So I can say, if I could turn it on. Apparently it doesn't like to turn on today. This is probably the longest part of any of my videos is watching me try to turn on this calculator. There we go. Alright, so I heavily suggest at this point in time, if you are using one of the newer calculators, that you hit alpha y equals, enter. Alright, so that will give you a nice little fraction setup. I cannot do that, so that means I'm going to put my numerator in parentheses so that I can then click divide. Oh, I forgot the 0. So that I can click divide by, and then I'm going to put my denominator in parentheses. 80. Now, I am going to double check real fast to make sure I'm in degree mode. I am. Press enter, and I get that B is approximately 10.5. Or 10.6, let's round up. 10.6. Alright, so I know what B is. I know that B is approximately 10.6. Okay. So now, what I can do is I can go back and repeat this entire process, but I can use angle A to find side A. Alright, that's the joy of the law of sines. The law of sines allows me to say that any side divided by the sine of the angle opposite is equal to any other side divided by the sine of the angle opposite it. So I can say little a over sine of 40. Okay, and I'm going to repeat this exact same, process. So I'm going to get 12 sine of 40 is equal to a sine of 80. Alright, then I'm going to divide both sides by sine of 80 once again. Because it's a times sine of 80, and so the opposite of multiplication is division. So that allows me to get a by itself, which is what I'm trying to do. Okay, so these cancel out, so you get just a is equal to, and then we're just going to grab our handy dandy calculator and put that top part in parentheses again. So 12 sine of 40 divided by sine of 80. Press enter, and I get 7.8. And there we go. So there's the two sides you're trying to solve for, 10.6 and 7.8. Good job. Let's move on. Let's look at problem number 2. A boy is flying 2 kites at the same time. He has 380 feet of line out to one kite and 420 feet to the other. He estimates the angle between the two lines to be 30 degrees. Approximate the distance between the kites. Okay, so he has one line that's 380 feet. And then he has another line that is 420 feet. And then he knows that the angle between the two kites is 30 degrees. Okay. And he wants us to find the distance between the two kites. So let's go ahead and label this triangle as an ABC triangle. So then that means the side I'm trying to find, since I labeled it like this side's little a. If you label it differently, that's fine. You just have to make sure you stay consistent. Okay. So we want to find side little a. We cannot say for sure that this is a right triangle. So that means we're going to assume it's not. Just because we can't say it is, therefore we're going to assume it's not. So that means instead I'm going to set up my trig chart. Not my trig chart. I'm sorry about that. I'm going to set up my T chart, my tables, sides and angles. I just wrote S and A because it's hard for me to draw. So I have little a, little b, little c, capital A, capital B, capital C. Alright, so side little a, I don't know. Side little b is 420. Side little c is 380. Alright, angle A is 30, and then I don't know any of the other angles. I don't really need the degree marker right now. Okay, so when you look at all this, we're always supposed to see we have a pair of opposites. Nope, nope, and nope. So we do not have a pair of opposites. So instead, that means we probably want to use law of cosines. So now ask yourself, are you solving for a side or are you solving for an angle? Well, I'm trying to find side A, so I'm solving for a side. Okay, so then look through your notes and you'll see that, oh, I can say that using law of cosines, A squared is equal to B squared plus C squared minus 2 times B times C times cosine of angle A. Okay? Now, let's double check, make sure we have all that information so I can actually use this formula. Do I have B? Yes. Do I have C? Yes. Do I have angle A? Yes. Okay, I can use all this information. I can use this formula. So A squared is equal to 420 squared plus 380 squared minus 2 times 420 times 380 times cosine of angle 30 degrees. Alright, so at this point in time we are ready to just jab all that good stuff into a calculator. So I grab my calculator and I type 420 squared plus 380 squared minus 2 times 420 times 380 times cosine of 30. I press enter, and I get that huge number, but that's what a squared is equal to. What do I need to do to this number? Hopefully you just thought, oh, I need to square root that number so I can get a. So let's do that. 44364.69111. Press enter, and you get 210.6. So a is approximately equal to 210.6. So there's approximately 210 feet between the kites. Very good. Okay, last one to work out with you is problem number, hold on, let me double check my notes. Problem number 4, that's what I thought. Problem number 4. Okay. Ooh. Okay, problem number 4 says Peter has 3 sticks measuring 19, 23, and 27 inches. He lays them down to form a triangle. Find the measure of the angle enclosed by the 19 and 23 sides. Okay, so he has 3 sticks, a 19, a 23, and a 27. Sorry, my triangle is so bad. 19, 23, 27. And it says find the angle enclosed by the 19 and 23. So we're trying to find this angle right here. Okay, so how about we label this triangle as ABC? A, B, C. Okay, and we're trying to find angle A. Alright, when you look at this, you say, I don't know any angles, so I have no idea if this is a right triangle or not. So we're going to assume it's not a right triangle, and instead we're going to make our T-chart. Sides, angles. So side little a, side little b, side little c. 19, 23, and 27. 19, oh, sorry. Little a is 27. Little b is 19. And little c is 23. And then I don't know any of the angles. I don't know at all. Okay? So then I do not have a pair of opposites. Alright? So since I don't have a pair of opposites, that says, okay, the only thing I can link into is law of cosines. Now, what am I solving for here? An angle. That's correct. So if I'm trying to solve for an angle, and I'm going to use law of cosines, then I should use one of the ones where I get to say cosine of an angle. Now, it says between the 19 and 23 sides. Which angle is that? Formed by the 19 and 23 sides. That's angle A. So I could say cosine of angle A, and you should look at your notes, and there's a formula about this. Okay, under the law of cosines, we gave you guys 6 formulas. 3 were solving for sides, and 3 were solving for angles. Alright, so in this case, I want to use the cosine of angle A, which should be equal to b squared plus c squared minus a squared divided by 2bc. Okay, so before we actually start doing anything, let's make sure I have all this information so I can solve for cosine of angle A. Do I know B, C, and A? B, C, and A. Yes, I do. Alright, so I can plug in. So I can say cosine of angle A is equal to, and I can say 19 squared, almost misread my own handwriting, plus 23 squared minus 27 squared divided by 2 times 19 times 23. Alright, so now guys, I'm ready to just plug this into a calculator. So I again encourage you at this point in time in your calculator, you should alpha y equals enter. My older calculator does not have that ability the way yours does. Okay, it doesn't have that software. So if you're not going to do it that way, you must put your numerator in parentheses and your denominator in parentheses. Press enter, and I get this 0.1842 yada yada yada. Now, that's cosine of A. I want angle A. So how do I get rid of a cosine? So right now what we have, and I'm going to actually write it out. I don't always write it out in class, but I want to make sure you guys get a chance to see it in case you're confused by it. Cosine of angle A is equal to 0.18. I'm just going to do 42 because I don't feel like writing everything out. But I don't want cosine of angle A. I just want angle A. So how do I get rid of cosine? I do the cosine inverse. So I write cosine of -1 of all this. And what you do to one side, you must do to the other side. So cosine of -1 of all this. So cosine here and here cancel out. I'm going to get A equals, and then I just go back to my calculator, and I hit second cosine, and I type in this number. I have a trick I can use, and I can click second answer, or second this little button, that way it brings up answer, and I get 79.4. That is the angle I'm looking for. Angle A is approximately 79.4 degrees. Alright guys, sorry this video ran a bit. I tried to make them short. This one just kind of took its time. I hope everything made sense. If it did not, please shoot me an email, a text on Remind, message on Canvas even. Just let me know what I can do for you. Thanks. Have a great day.